Hello and welcome back to another edition of The Honest Truth. This is a video series where I show you all of the real numbers behind my part-time eBay business. I'm not going to offer any tips or advice or any kind of guru nonsense. I'm just going to tell you the real actual results of my business. So if you're interested, stick around. We'll get right to it. Let's talk about the number of sales that I had during that time period, February 1st through February 15th, and how much money I made. And then we'll compare that to maybe January of this year, see how we're doing. We'll look back at February of 2025 and see how we're doing in comparison to that. And then I'm going to show you some of the best sales of this 2-week period and some of the worst sales as well. All right, so from February 1st to February 15th of this year, I made a total of 82 sales. And that brought in a profit of just under $1,900, like $1,800. I got it written right here, $1,893.74. So it sounds pretty good, but during the exact same period last year of 2025, I sold 61 items as compared to 82 items, which sounds good. But I made more than $1,900 in the same 2-week period last year, $1,904. So this year, basically, I sold 21 more items, but I made slightly less profit. Okay, so I'm going to try to break down volume versus profit and see what that means for me. So this year, 82 sales in this 2-week period, $1,893.74 profit. That turns out to be just about $23 per sale. Last year, 61 sales, $1,904 in profit. So we're talking about around $31 per sale. So about roughly $8 less per sale this year than last year. It's not caused by a rounding error or anything like that. I think it's possibly caused by a strategy shift that I've been making, or it could just be normal business ups and downs. You know, sometimes one week is better than another week, and there's really no reason for it. But I have been trying to be a little bit more aggressive with my pricing. I've been experimenting with lowering my prices that I normally would put sort of in the top range of comps. I've been going to the bottom range or like the bottom middle range, hoping to have some quicker sales, you know, move things a little bit faster instead of letting stuff sit for months or years, waiting for the top possible dollar. So I can't be sure if this is causing the change in my sales volume, but I do guess that it is what's causing it. I'm moving a lot more items recently, packing a lot more boxes. It's just that each one is earning a little bit less than they were last year. So is that better? I'm not sure. That's something that I need to think about. But I did have some pretty profitable sales. They weren't all low value sales. I did have some profitable ones. So let's take a look at some of the highest earners of this 2-week period. The number 5 best sale of this month so far was this pair of Dr. Martens shoes. They're like low shoes with a big, thick, chunky heel. It's called Audric, Audrick. That's the style of these shoes. And I got those at a garage sale, I think in September, so just about 5 months ago. And I picked them up for $7. They look like super brand new, totally clean. They don't have the box, but it's clear they've never been worn. So I had those listed for, I guess that's just about 5 months. And I ended up taking an offer of $61.50. So I think I probably had them at like $69 or something like that, and ended up selling them $61.50. I shipped those just like 7 or 8 days ago, and the buyer just reached out to me the other day to say that they have not arrived yet. And I checked into the tracking, and they've been going back and forth between 3 or 4 different USPS sorting hubs here in the Chicago area. So I had to put in a missing mail search request today, and hopefully they get delivered soon. Anyway, after the cost of goods was subtracted and the eBay fees and the shipping label, those shoes brought in a total profit of $45.78. All right, number 4 on my list is Child's Play VHS tape. This is like, Chucky the Killer Doll, the original Child's Play from 1988. This tape came out. I bought this at the Goodwill. And this is why I like to look at old media, because sometimes it can be like you can find something that's pretty valuable. This one I had listed for quite a while. I got this about in May. I bought this on May 5th at the Goodwill, 2025, and I paid $3 for it. After tax, probably $3.30, something like that. And I had it listed for just around $100, maybe a little bit more. In the end, I didn't think it was going to sell for that price, and I was doing some experiments lowering and raising my prices, and it ended up selling for $62.99 on a $3 cost of goods. That's pretty good return on investment. After those fees and everything, we're looking at $49.92. So pretty good sale. Okay, the third best sale of the year, or of this 2 week period rather, was a Sony 300 disc CD changers, like the kind where you put all of your CDs in there and you store them there forever. I've actually had this one for quite a long time. I bought it in December of 2024 for $15. And I bought 3 of these types of devices. This one was a 300 disc changer. There was a 500 disc changer, and then there was a DVD changer. I don't remember how many discs that was. I bought all 3 of those at the same go. They were all $15 a piece. The other 2 I tested all 3 of these. Those other 2 were in working condition, and they sold very, very quickly. This one unfortunately didn't work, so I was going to just sell it for parts or for repair, and it has been sitting for a little while. I did have like one guy just kept sending me offers and messages about this machine. He was in Florida and he kept saying, I need, I can only pay you $9.99 for it. And I just kept saying, no, I think I probably had it listed around 89 or 90. And he kept this, like every few weeks he would send me this offer and he would say, I see you still have that. It's better to sell it to me for something than to just let it sit forever. And I kept telling him no. And he said, I can't pay the price you're paying me because I'll never be able to make a profit when I resell it. So I was done with this guy. I don't know that I blocked him, but I may have blocked him. It was getting pretty irritating. Um, I'm not going to sell it to him for $10. I can't possibly make a profit on it. I wouldn't even be breaking even on it. So anyway, I just recently turned off all options for local pickup in my store because I just had too many people, you know, dragging things out, not showing up when they say they're going to. And so I decided I didn't want to deal with the hassle. But someone messaged me about this CD changer and said, I just live like 5 minutes from where you are, and would you be open to the idea of a local pickup? And I said, yes, for sure. If you want it, let me know. And I changed it to local pickup. He bought it for $67.50 and came immediately. Like he was here the same day and picked it up, took it, and no questions asked. He was a electronics repair person. He's going to fix it up, and he's going to try to sell it to somebody else. He'll probably get $150 for it once it's in working condition. Hopefully, hopefully he does well on it. Anyway, after all said and done, I paid the eBay fees and whatever. No shipping on this one. I earned $52.52. The second best sale of this 2 week period was a ceramic sculpture. Let me get the guy's name because he has an interesting name. His name is James Robert Bob Black. So he's a ceramics artist. And in the 70s, he was producing these impressionistic kind of portrait type sculptures. They look like vases, but there's really nowhere to put a flower or anything in them. They're just sculptures. And this one I got, I think, is supposed to be, let me see what I put in the title. I think it was meant to be a religious figure, like a bishop or something like that. At first I thought maybe it was supposed to be a chess piece, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. Some kind of a religious guy. And you'll see the pictures. I've got this at my local little thrift store. I go there every day on my lunch break pretty much. And I paid almost $50 for it. It was like 40 after tax and everything, $49.95 I paid for this guy. And I had seen not a huge amount of sales history on Robert Bob Black, but some sales, and they were a little bit all over the place. Like some very similar pieces to this had sold for like as much as $600, but also some as little as like $150 or $200. And so I had tried to put it right in the middle, 300, and maybe I started it at like 400 and I lowered it and I lowered it. And I had it at this point, I had it at $289. Somebody sent me an offer for 200, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Like I went back and forth with myself thinking, should I wait? Should I wait until I can get 300 for it, or 289 or whatever? $90 is a big discount. But in the end, I just decided it's better to sell it and have the $200 in my hand rather than hang on to it and hope for the possibility of making another $90 someday that may never materialize. So I sold it to the guy for $200. After the eBay fees and the cost of goods, I made a profit of $122.25. And then the biggest sale of this 2-week period was a lot of 4 Dell networking devices. Like I don't know exactly what they were. I have a whole bunch of them around here, but these 4 sets were the cream of the crop of what I picked up at this one Facebook Marketplace buy. A bunch of this networking stuff that I don't really know what it is. But these, again, it was an offer. Let me find the listing. Again, this came as an offer, like some of these others have. And I think I had like 200, let's see, 200. Yeah, I had $200 into these 4 devices. And somebody wanted to buy all 4 of them for $570. So that's a pretty good profit there. I took their offer immediately. It was a very reasonable offer. I think it was only like less than 10% off of what I was asking. So I was happy with this offer. I took it. It was $570, a little bit difficult to package and ship these. It turned out it was a repeat buyer, and if somebody who I have done local pickups with, who we may have had that same, we might have done the same thing this time, but except I had turned off all local pickup options, and he probably just wanted to just buy it. And I think this guy runs some kind of a home internet installation business, so he might be putting this in somebody's home or an office or who knows what. Anyway, $570 off of $200 cost of goods, minus eBay fees and shipping cost, and we're down to $299.51. So that last sale really did a lot of the heavy lifting during this time period, getting me the profit that I was looking for. So if that Dell sale hadn't happened during this time period, I'd be significantly behind last year's profits, which one of my goals is always just to be earning a little bit more each month than I did that same month in the previous year. So this thing raises a little bit of a question. So I'm selling a lot of low value items, like small profits, $20 and less, $20 and under, I guess. But is my business increasingly dependent on these occasional big whales sales? Like how many big hits do I need each month if I want to stay on pace to reach the goals that I want to reach? Okay, we've looked at the good profitable items. Now let's look at the stuff that barely moved my profit needle. So here we go. The number 5 worst sale of this 2 weeks is this Pillsbury cinnamon roll scented candle. Let's see, where did I get this candle? This candle came from my little thrift store. It's sold after less than 4 or 5 months. I paid $1.50 for it, and I only sold it for $7.67. So I'm not sure where that price came from, but that's the price I sold it for. So this is not a good return on investment. In fact, I must have charged a pretty hefty shipping amount on this, because my profit was $5.92 on this sale, which is difficult to get when you're looking at $7.67 for the actual sale price. But that's the 5th worst sale of this time period. Okay, number 4 was one of these Spanish language editions of the book Fourth Wing. And I have a whole case full of these. I came upon several of them. I think I probably had 20, maybe, however many were in the case, maybe 18. I've sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, ranging between like $7 and $10 based on offers and stuff. I do have a lot of them, so I'm trying to get them gone. This is the kind of thing I don't really mind taking a pretty low profit on because I have a bunch of them. They're easy to store and they're easy to ship. So this one, I believe I sold for $8.09. So this would have been probably an offer. I think probably an offer from another country where the exchange rate comes up with this strange number, $8.09. These I've only had since December, so I've sold that many since December, but like I said, they're low value. This one earned $5.52. So, I mean, it's questionable whether selling something you're only going to make $5.50 on is a good idea. But like I said, these are easy to ship and easy to store, and I get them for free. So, um, I'll sell stuff like this. I don't mind. Okay, number 3 on this list is the Godfather DVD collection. This is all 3 of the Godfather movies in one box set. I got these at the Salvation Army. I think somebody sent me an offer, and I was thinking this is too low for this nice DVD box set. But then I looked at how long I've had it. I bought it in March of 2024, so close to 2 years. It's time for it to go. So I took an offer on this of $12.50. I paid $4.40 for it. So we're looking at total profit here of $5.11. So not great, but it's gone. I made a little bit of money. I didn't lose money, and it's fine. It was easy to ship, easy to store, and we made $5 on it. Okay, second to worst sale during this 2 weeks was a little model airplane, Thunderbolt P-47D. It was I bought this. I seemed like it was in the box. I can't remember if the box just was so smashed up that I took it out of the box. I still had the little plastic tray that it sits in. This is a small airplane, like about maybe 4 or 5 inches long, maybe less. And this is another thing I've had for a long time, all the way back in April of 2024. It's just been lingering here in my shop. And so, again, got an offer, $7.76. I don't know where that number comes from, but I took that offer and got this out of here, and that brought in a profit of $3.64. All right, then finally, the worst sale of this time period was this Sony micro cassette recorder. These things can do well if they're in working condition, but they're, old electronics. You just never know what you're getting yourself into. So I got this at an estate sale in October, and it looked nice. It came with a few cassettes. I think I paid $3 for it, and I expected it to sell for like 35 to 50 maybe, but of course it didn't work. I think that I was going to say I think I sold this to somebody and then they returned it, but that's not true. I just sold it to this one person for parts or for repair. I'm just basically trying to get my money back here. I put $5.99 on it. Somebody paid me for that. And then the shipping cost covered a little bit of this loss here. So we ended up making $3.17 on this. So the worst sale of this time period, we still made a little bit of money. It's not the end of the world, but after photographing all this stuff, listing it, pulling it out of inventory, keeping it in my inventory, taking up space, other things would take, packing it, shipping it, that's a pretty thin profit right there. And it's an uncomfortable question, I guess, but would I rather ship those 82 items that I'm averaging out $21 profit on, or 61 items that I'm averaging 30 some dollars profit on for the same the same time period? Because those extra sales, they definitely represent a lot of extra labor. I'm putting a lot of work into shipping and more packing, and then not to mention shipping supply costs, mental bandwidth. I've got to be thinking about this stuff. So the question is, am I getting more efficient in my business, or am I just busier than I was before? Okay, so we are halfway through February, so let's look forward to the second half of this month and think about what's going to happen. So right now, well, last February in 2025, my total profit for the whole month was $3,363.51. At my current pace, I'm roughly around $1,893, let's just say $1,900. And that's in just the first 2 weeks of the month. So if I can keep that pace up, I will probably hit like something like 3,700 or 3,800, something like that. So I'm slightly ahead. I suspect I'll be slightly ahead of last year, but January's growth was 20% over the previous year, and I really want to keep that growth going if I can. It's not necessarily always going to be possible, but I'm trying to keep that same growth, and hopefully we'll make something like $57,000 this year if we can continue that 20% increase over last year. So if I want to keep that 20% growth, I need to do something to get more sales. This month has to be closer to 4,000 as compared to what I think it's going to be, 37 or 3,800. So what can I do to bring in $4,000 instead of 3,700? Well, I think what I'll probably do, and I did this a lot last year, is the second half of every month I would run a sale, and then that brings in more sales again, but hopefully it doesn't affect that bottom line. Like I was talking about earlier, if I put a sale on, then I'm automatically dropping the price, the value, and the per sale profit of each of these items. And I really want to keep that per sale average a little bit higher. This trend of this number per sale profit being lower than last year that's not one that I love. I want that per item profit to go up. So the lesson that I'm taking away from this 2-week period is that selling more doesn't automatically mean earning more. And if this sort of a trend where I'm selling more items but making less money continues, I might still be able to hit my annual goal for the year. I just need to be considering what is driving these numbers and not just celebrate each sale. Just because the sales count is going up doesn't mean that I should be very excited about it. Being busier does not mean that, that's not necessarily good for business. The less busy I am and the more money I make is better. So for now, I'm going to just keep my eye on things and try my best to sell at the highest price I can, but balance that out with not keeping stuff too long. So I'd love to know, like, what are you guys doing? Would you rather sell more lower margin items or fewer higher margin items? So yeah, I wonder what you guys are doing. I know a lot of people say what do they say? Fast nickel beats the slow dime, and that's a good turn of phrase, but fast dime is probably better. Anyway, as a matter of fact, I did have a bunch of sales, and some of these are probably going to be pretty low margin sales, but they all need to get packed, and we're going to do that tonight. And it's going to take a little while. So if you've had enough and you don't want to see any packing, I understand. But if you stick around to the end, I'll tell you exactly how much money I made on each of these items and how much money I made each day of this packing period. So let's go to the kitchen, pull all these items, and then get them packed and shipped out. Okay, I think I pulled 18 orders, and it sounds like a lot, but this is over the course of the last few days. So today is Monday, President's Day, so there's no mail today, and then I had very few sales on Friday, so I didn't bother packing those. So we've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then today's sales here. So it has been a relatively slow weekend, but all of this stuff has got to go. So I'm gonna pack it all and hope for some more sales as we go forward. So, okay, first thing here is a Caboodles. This is like a makeup case. These are, I think they still make these actually, but they were really popular in the 90s, and they had been top sellers on eBay for quite a while, but of recent years they don't sell for what they used to. So this one I might have sold for like $40 4 or 5 years ago, but what did I pay for this? $2 at a church, or maybe it was like a school. It was a sale in a gymnasium. I paid $2 for it, and I sold it for $18.99. So, like I said, probably would have got twice that much a few years ago, and I'm sure there are still varieties of these that are more valuable than this, but this one, $18.99. This box is a little bit tighter than I was hoping, but it's not really a very fragile item, so we'll get some paper in here to keep it from bouncing around, and then just close the lid and get it out of here. $18.99. I think I have another one of these listed right now, a very similar one, but maybe like $21.99, or maybe I sold that one already, I'm not sure. Anyway, I found this box that's just about the right size, just like a tiny bit smaller than I would prefer, but it's going to be just fine. So I got the whole bench here loaded up with all of the orders that are going out, and luckily it's all pretty small stuff this time. The biggest thing here is like a vacuum hose, and that should be, luckily it's flexible, so it should be pretty easy to pack that. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'm going to pack up the first half of these and then get the second half laid out and ready to go. So let's see, here's a label. This, I think I must have gotten this box from do you have Gordon's Food Service, GFS, in your area? It's like a restaurant supply house, but they let people go in there, just normal people. You don't have to be a restaurateur to shop there. And the last time I went in there, they have a big cage full of boxes at the front that customers can take. Caboodles, and I just took a couple, not too many. My hands were full already with groceries. 3 pounds 4 ounces, so that's 4 pounds. This is 16 by 8 by 9, 16 by 9 by 8. And it's gonna go to RRR in California. So, number 1 down. Next is a DVD or a Blu-ray. This is the new version of the Toxic Avenger. Just picked this up. I thought I might want to watch it, and then I decided I'd rather just sell it. So, let's see. Do I have some cardboard? I usually like to, if I'm gonna put something in a bubble wrap, I usually like to wrap it in some cardboard first, and I'm gonna do that right now. And then will it fit? It's gonna be pretty tight. This is just a bubble mailer. I was gonna try to put it in here sideways, but it's not gonna fit, so I'm gonna just put it in long ways and seal it up and call it good. So let's get that one closed. I'm going to close it up this way a little bit so the disc can't slide out of that cardboard sleeve I put it in. Hopefully this isn't problematic for the post office. I don't think it is. I'm sure these come in the size they come in for a reason. That's probably the size they want to ship them, but I don't think there's any rules against making the packages smaller. In fact, I'm going to make some bigger in a little bit. Okay. Toxic Avenger. Probably just watch that on streaming somewhere. 5 ounces. This is going to be 10 by 8. 10, 8, 1. It's going to go to CH in Iowa. Good. Next, let me get rid of this. My garbage can here is overloaded. It should have taken that out. I think that because of the holiday, there was no garbage pickup today, but my garbage cans are still out on the street, so I should take that out tonight. Okay, next thing we have here is a Callaway golf shirt. This has Hofbrau Munchin Brewery embroidered on here, so I don't know if this is like a giveaway for a golfing tournament or for employees of this brewery or something. I think it's a German brewery, so probably not. Anyway, brand new Callaway golf shirt. I got this for $2 and sold it for $17.99. So what's the profit on that going to be? $14, something like that? 13 maybe. Whenever I fold these over, I like to close up these tunnels in here. I'm always afraid that if you leave this open, that's going to cause problems with USPS sorting machines, so I just close those. And this one has a lot of air in it, but I think it'll be fine. Callaway is 12 ounces. This is going to be 13 by 10 by 1. Whoops. And it's going to UK in Minnesota. Okay, there's 3 down. Next up is a hockey player. I've sold quite a few of these recently. I've had them for a while, and they just in the last weeks have started to move. I've had them since February of last year, so just about a year, and they're finally starting to sell, which is unusual to me, but I've got several of them. This one is Blue Player D, letter D says there. So the players are all basically the same, but they have different lengths of these rods, and they're really not. I thought I was going to just take them apart and be able to sell them, ship them easily, but they're not that easy to take apart, so I don't really want to break them. So selling them individually as is. I bought the whole hockey set, and it was, I wouldn't say it was incomplete, but some of the pieces were broken. So I'm parting that machine out. This big hockey, it's like a foosball game really, but it's hockey. This needs a second box. So this one, I'm just gonna make a lid. See how this guy is just a little bit too long? He'll fit in here, but not with the flaps closed. So I'm just gonna make a lid to go over here, which isn't gonna be very complicated, but you'll see me do it. So let's cut this. I've got a knife. Cut this, cut that off, fold it up, tape it up, shoot, tape it, and then this will just sit on top of here like that. So let's get some bubble. I have a whole bunch of bubble wrap that has appeared in recent days, all these scraps of stuff. My wife brought a big box of stuff home from her job, so I'm going to try to use some of that and get this big box out of here. It's just taking up room. So we'll get him in here, and then we're going to just put paper all around as usual. Won't need too much really. He's pretty lightweight and is not really going to get broken, so I'll put a couple balls of paper in here just to keep him from bouncing around, and then put the cap right on top. It's going to be a little tight. These boxes are exactly the same size after all. My microphone was off for most of that, so hopefully it was legible or audible, but we're back on now, so hopefully it's not too bad. Okay, hockey. It only weighs 12 ounces, very light. Most of that's probably the box. 18 by 8 by 6. It's going to, the other ones I've sold were going overseas. Let's see where this one is going. Or probably they're going to Canada. This one's going to Florida to DI. Okay, next. I think some hats. This is a pair of Guitar Hero hats. They're very similar, but slightly different. They're not exactly the same hat. This one's a little bit washed out, and this one is pure black. I thought one of them had a different badge on it somewhere, but I guess not. Anyway, Guitar Hero hats. They're not worth much. I think I got these for like less than 50 cents a piece. Let's see. $1.16 I paid for these, so whatever that is. I think they came from an estate sale. Is that right? Yes, estate sale. All the way back in May of last year. Let's see, I got some boxes here. They're not valuable. $16 for the two hats together. I have another hat coming up later. It's a little bit better, but these are pretty cheap. It's $15.99 plus shipping. Okay, let's get tape on here. I'm gonna put tape on the bottom too, even though this box is already taped. This is the Amazon box I'm reusing. They usually use this paper tape, and I just don't trust it after it's already been shipped. It's already been delivered once, so there's a possibility that paper tape is worn out. I'm gonna write Guitar Hero because I have another hat later. I don't want to just write hats on here. 12 ounces. This box is 11 by 8 by 6, and it's going to, let's say, Florida, New York to AC. Okay, next, keyboard. I have this. I bought 2 of these mechanical keyboards. These are like the kind that light up and are super fancy for gamers. I bought 2 of these at the exact same time for generally the same price. I think this one was 10. Yeah, this one was 10. I think the other one was like 12. And I thought they were gonna sell for a much higher price, but they've been sitting for a long time. So one of them, the other one sold already just a couple of days ago. It's funny that they both sold kind of like one after the other. They've been sitting around since over a year, close to 2 years, over 2 years I've bought these. And they've been sitting and sitting and sitting with no interest. The other one, I had lost it. I mean, I knew where it was, but I didn't know where it was. I had written in my custom SKU field on eBay, I had the location in there, and I accidentally copied over that SKU field on a few different listings. So I did a whole video of trying to track down those 5 items. One of them was the other keyboard I bought this same day. And then that I ended them in an effort to keep somebody from buying them until I could find them and know where they were. And so I ended them, then I relisted that keyboard. It sold like the next day. So it's been listed for 2 years. I relisted it, it sold immediately. And then 2 or 3 days later, the other one sells. Seems unusual. I know it's just a coincidence, but it's really easy to look for connections when these sales happen like that. The other one was much bigger. This was a pretty tiny keyboard, and luckily it fits very properly in this Ground Advantage box. Okay, that one is keyboard, key B, I wrote on there. 2 pounds, 4 ounces, so we're gonna call it 3 pounds. This box is 15 by 8 by 6, and we'll send it to JB, in Illinois. So my home state, my home and current state. Okay, next up is one of these little, it's a Magic Kingdom thing that says the Walt Disney Story, and it's just like a little light up ceramic piece, has a light bulb inside there. I've got the original box, but not all of the styrofoam that it came with originally, so I'm going to pack this with paper. Let me use some of this bubble wrap. Random scraps. I'm going to put this inside this box if I can. This is kind of a big piece, but it's fine. Yep, good. So that guy is going to go inside this box, which is just about exactly the right size. This keyboard, I bought it for 10 and I sold it for 30. So we'll make a profit on that, but not a great profit. I think I probably had that thing at like $60 for a long time. That's probably why it didn't sell. And maybe, I don't remember lowering the price on that, but I must have. Main Street Opera House. This was from Sears, so you know this is pretty old. Has a Sears label on it. And I bought this for, I paid $7 for this, which I'm not sure what I was thinking. It sold for $27.99, so we're gonna make less than $20 on it. All right, we're almost there. I think this is gonna be the halfway point. So I'm going to pause here. Well, let's just do the next one. It's the other hat. This is a Miami, can I get it out of here? Yeah. Miami, I don't know what teams they have there in Miami. Looks like a basketball team. Mitchell and Ness hat. This one, where did I get this? I bought this at the Goodwill for $4. And this last week, I've been experimenting. I'm calling it meet me halfway. So if somebody sends me an offer, every offer that somebody has sent this week, for the most part, I have sent them a counter offer exactly halfway between my asking price and their offer price, and trying to see how often do these counter offers result in sales. And it's going to be a kind of an interesting experiment, because typically if somebody sends me a lowball offer, like less than 50% of my asking price, I'm just going to ignore it. I won't even bother sending a counter offer. But this week I've been sending the counter offers to see if I've been doing that wrong. What is this called? Miami? And this is one of those situations where they offered me a certain amount. $14 was halfway between what they offered and what I was asking. So I sent them the $14 counter offer, and then they came back with another counter offer. And I'm just like, I'm doing this experiment now. I'm sticking with my guns. 14 is the amount. This is 10 by 8 by 5. So I re-counter offered again with the 14 2 times, and then they accepted that offer right away. So yeah, so I think I'm publishing those. This guy says, please ensure and track postage, BEP, which really isn't even an option. Let's see, not for me. I'm buying my labels through eBay, so those come automatically with tracking, and most of the time with insurance. Ground Advantage, $100 worth of insurance. Okay, I'm going to take a pause here and go get myself a little drink, and then I'm going to come back and finish the second half of this marathon. All right, the next round of packages are all ready to go. I pulled out everything, found boxes that should be appropriate for them, and let's get this done. Hopefully it's not too much longer, but they all got to go out tomorrow, so we got to do what we got to do. All right, right here I have 2 books. These are paperback books called The 12th Planet and The Stairway to Heaven, books of the Earth Chronicles series by Zachariah Stitchin. So these aren't exactly, they're not exactly fiction, not exactly nonfiction, sort of philosophy / pseudoscience books. These are popular in like the 70s and the early 80s. I'll tell you what it says. This revolutionary work, the product of 30 years of scholarship, the author brings together lost antediluvian texts, sophisticated ancient cosmologies, and newly discovered celestial maps of space flights to Earth to reach a shocking conclusion that we are descendants of the Nephilim, a superior race from Marduk, the 12th planet. So, who knows? Who knows? These are some other ones that I just ended and relisted recently when I was doing some inventory auditing. So, seems like ending and relisting is a viable option. If you've got something that's been listed for a long time and it hasn't sold, end it, relist it, consider the price, consider the title, you know. I don't think I changed the title or the price on these, but they did sell pretty quickly after relisting. That would have been less than a week ago they were relisted. And they sold for $11.96. It says to a repeat buyer. I don't know who that is, so I'll have to dig into that and figure out who's buying these books and how do these books compare to the books they bought in the past. Okay, 12th Planet I'm writing on here. 12, 1 pound 8 ounces, that's 2 pounds, 13 by 11 by 3. They're going to, maybe I'll recognize the name. I do not. RM in Michigan. All right, I'm running out of room. I'm stacking up all of the packages underneath the camera here. Next up is a Bible, Holy Bible. Holy Bible, it has these tabs on the side. That's a little bit of a selling point, I guess. And it has a red letter, supposed to have red letters for the words of Jesus. Yes, it does. This is a Zondervan edition from 2011. I think this might be, oh, leather look, it says. So it's not leather, it's leather look. I'm gonna wrap this in paper. Some people have told me I should put all books in plastic before shipping them, but I don't feel I need to do that, especially for these lower value books. This one sold for $13.49. I paid $1 for it pretty recently. I think this was a January listing, yep, from the Unique thrift store. And it's going in one of these boxes, which is a little bit bigger than it needs to be, but this is the size I have handy. So let's get more paper in here and get a book in here. A Bible. I usually pick up any Bibles I see as long as they're in decent condition. It seems like even if they're not valuable, they usually do sell pretty quickly. Like this one's only a $13 Bible, but it sold in just about a month. Probably less than a month. Yeah. Uh-oh, I'm out of tape. All right, I'm gonna pause, go get some tape, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're all set up with new tape. Bible, 2 pounds, 13 by 11 by 3. And we'll ship this to NK in Idaho. Okay, Fourth Wing, another one of these. I just talked about one of these earlier. Spanish language edition. Again, not very valuable, $9. I think I got another sale here. Oh, best offer. I'll deal with that after. So wrapping this up a little, put it in the same kind of a box. I think I have 11 or 12 of these left. I'm pretty sure all of the other that I've shipped have gone to freight forwarders and then sent on to a country where they predominantly speak Spanish. I had one person arguing with me about the price. I mean, it's already $9, $8.99. And they were telling me they can get it cheaper from another place. And I told them, go right ahead. You know, you can get it cheaper somewhere else, then why not do that? But they ended up buying it from me anyway. This one is going to, yeah, that's for sure, a freight forwarder. They're all going to freight forwarders. This one in Miami, YV. It's got a name and then a string of numbers after the name, which usually is a signal. If it's going to Florida or Oregon, some other states, usually if it has a weird string of numbers in the name, that means it's a freight forwarder. Somebody purchased this. I don't know exactly how it works or why it's so much cheaper to do that, to do those freight forwarding than to do eBay international shipping. I'm sure they have to pay fees to the freight forwarding company. So I don't know how it works, but this will go to Florida to a company and then they will pass it on to the eventual buyer. All right, next, where's my box? Here's a small box for a small item. This is a G.I. Joe Cobra Python Crimson Guard. This one I got for free. My mother-in-law gave me a ton of G.I. Joes a long time ago. February of 2023, so 3 years ago. She gave me a bunch of G.I. Joes. And most of the valuable ones sold right away. The rest of them have been sitting and sitting and sitting. And I was just thinking I should just lot all of these action figures together and get a big sale, get them all out. And then somebody bought one. And this one, I was talking about the meet me in the middle plan, the scheme experiment. And this one I had listed for $21.99. Somebody sent me an offer of $21. So I didn't really want to offer $21.50. So this is one that's outside of my experiment. I just took the offer and we're settling it for $21. 5 ounces. This is 6 by 5 by 5. It's going to, oof, I'm getting worn out. JE in Illinois, downstate Illinois. Next, I'm running out of room for sure. Okay, these books are really cool. I went to Unique, and they do, if you buy 4 books, you get the 5th one free. And I had 3 books in my hand, and I couldn't find anything else I wanted. And then I came upon these, which are these lenticular. It's called faux, in this book it's called photicular, like photo lenticular. So the way it's set up is pretty cool, where when you lift the pages, it causes the picture, you know, lenticular photos where there's like 2 images or 3 images, and when you move them, it gives like a motion animated effect. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. When you lift the pages, the animation happens because they're attached to the page above, and it pulls the picture a little bit. Can you see it? Yeah, I think you can see that to the front. So pretty cool. There's this one is called Ocean, this one called Polar. Not real valuable, but like I said, I was scrambling to find 2 books that I could get and call them basically free. At least one of them would have been free. So I have $2.30 into these. This is repeat buyer too. I wonder if this is the same guy. No, this is a good supporter of the channel, Susan. And I'm gonna get these in this box and try to send them as safely as I can. They're an unusual size, and I don't have any really appropriate boxes for them right in front of me. So I'm trying this box. Yeah, that's good. And then this thing's got to come out. There's a little bit of bubble wrap in there. So we'll get these wrapped in paper and then into this box and on the way. They're really cool. They do have a little bit of damage on them, which nothing that takes away from the coolness of them too much, but it's unfortunate. Okay, this is garbage. This is a heavy duty box, so it should be pretty safe. These books should be pretty safe. There we go. The way this box is made, there's like 3 or 4 layers of cardboard on all sides, at least 2 layers. And you really only need tape on one end, like this. Shoot, a little bit too long. Okay, good. I will write on here, lenticular, and they're pretty heavy, 5 pounds. 5 pounds. This box is 12 by 10, 12 by 11 by 5, 12 by 11 by 5. They're going to SS, I think, Minnesota. Is that right? Yeah, Minnesota. I get confused with, even though I live in the Midwest and I'm right near Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota, it's like these letters that look similar, W, M, and M. I get those 3 states confused. So if you're from Minnesota and I say you're from Wisconsin, I apologize. Okay, next up here is a fishing map. This is a marked fishing map. It's not that old. I can't remember if it has a date on it or not. But they sell these maps, so if you go out fishing, it tells you the best places where you're going to find the best fishing or whatever. This one is for Norfolk Lake in Arkansas. So detailed lake reports, including tips from local experts, boat landing locations, fishery survey results, migration patterns, all this stuff that's supposed to make your fishing trip better. And this I got, I don't know how it got here. It's an Arkansas fishing map. Seems like somebody from Illinois must have went to Arkansas, I guess. I got this at my local thrift store I go to, my lunch break thrift store. And what did I pay for this? $1.50. So sold it for about 10 times that, $15.99. And there's, of course, shipping on top of that as well. So I'm just going to sandwich it between these pieces of cardboard. Boy, I can feel myself lagging. So if it seems like I'm struggling to speak, then it's because I am. I'm getting tired. And it's not even late. I think it's only 7. It's 8 o'clock now. I'm gonna write map on here, 4 ounces. This is 13 by 8 by 1, and it's going to, I bet it's going to Arkansas. Yeah. JG in Arkansas. All right, what's next? Here's a video game, Dot Hack. Don't know much about video games. This is a PlayStation 2 game. I very rarely even look at them at thrift stores or whatever because there's just so many games, and like finding the needle in the haystack seems unlikely. So I don't spend a lot of time looking for looking for games, and I know a lot of people, that's their whole bread and butter. You know, they're trying to find games all the time, but I never was a gamer in my life. After about the age of 10 or 12, I gave up on video games. They just started to get too hard for me. And so never really had much interest in games. So I don't know what games are popular, which games are valuable, but somehow I came across this one. This was again from my lunch break thrift store. I go there. It's getting embarrassing how often I go there. Actually, the folks I work there, it's all volunteer based. So they have these teams who are scheduled like only on Thursdays or only on Mondays or whatever. So when I go there on a Monday and everybody there knows me because I'm there every Monday, they all say, "Oh, hey, come on in, welcome home, welcome in," you know, all this kind of stuff. But because they only work there once a week, they don't know that I'm also going to be there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I luck out that way that I don't have to have the embarrassment that they know I'm there every single day of the week, pretty much. This is going to JL in Virginia, VA. All right, I have another similar thing, a Blu-ray. This is Tom Hanks's movie, That Thing You Do. You know, the music movie. This must be, is this a 60s, I guess? Late 50s or 60s. Pretty good movie. This is a Blu-ray. It's only ever been viewed once, and then I just put it for sale. So it's sold for only $10, $9.89 to be exact. Of course, shipping as well. What do we have left? 2 more after this? Come on. I got that other one in. It was the exact same size as this, and I got it in with no trouble, but this one's giving me a little bit, hanging up a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, That Thing You Do, The Wonders. I got this one for free, and I sold it for $10. Okay, That Thing You Do. That thing. It's only 4 ounces. What was the other one? 971. And this one is going to TW in Georgia. Okay, I usually like to, even if I don't have to ship, I usually like to do some shipping on the off days so that I don't have these big 20 package marathons, but I didn't really feel like it this week. I'm not sure if these boxes are going to fit the next item that needs to be packed, but I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work, then we'll go for something else. So this is a vacuum tube for a Dyson DC39 Origin. This is replacement hose and handle. I found a Dyson vacuum in the garbage and I thought maybe I could repair it, and I could not repair it. So I just decided to part it out and sell each individual part separately. And I think this is the last piece of that vacuum. Sorry. So I got it for free out of the garbage and sold it for $35 plus shipping. And I'm going to do the same deal here with this box as I did with the earlier one, where I'm cutting a little cap and putting this on top. The other one, I used those scraps, that leftover piece, to wrap those that video game and that Blu-ray disc. Dot Hack. Did I tell you how much I sold that for? Dot Hack went for $22 plus shipping. I paid $1.39 for it. And I don't know, maybe I missed some of these, but at the end of this video, I'll give the whole breakdown of each item and how much it actually earned after I buy the shipping labels. Okay, I'm putting a big strap this way and then go around this way. All right, vacuum, VAC. This is 2 pounds even, and it is 18 by 7 by 6 or something like that. 18 by 8 by 6. And it is going to RC in Virginia, 2nd Virginia of the night, I think. And I got one last item. And how am I going to pack this? Will it fit in this? I think it could. I'm going to turn this box, this scrap of this box, into another box and then use it. Okay, all I'm going to do right now is make these flaps. Two and that much. Okay, let's close it up on this end. This might be a little bit of a tight fit, but I think it's going to work out. Okay, I made a mark here somewhere. Two and something, 2.5, 2 5/8, something like that. And so I got my resizing tool. I marked it. I resized it right to that line. And we'll go inside here and cut this out. Try to keep it level, and then cut the corners out. And now we have another box. that I measured wrong. So I measured it wrong. So it's got a hole in it, but I'm going to make this work anyway. Okay, what do we have here is a lot of pens. These are called Eversharp. That's the brand. I don't know. They're not very special. You know, there are some pen brands that are pretty valuable. These aren't exceptionally valuable. So there's, I can't remember. There's some pens and some empty cases. I can't see here. Eversharp ballpoint pens. I guess I never put in here how many pens there actually are. Okay, there's 5 pens and 3 empty cases. So these are vintage pens. They're not as good as some like Cross or Parker's or other good brands. It's 8 o'clock. That's time to give the dog a pill. But I got these from an estate sale and I paid $30 for them. Is that right? Yeah, I paid $30 for all these pens, which was kind of a mistake. Not a great purchase because I sold them for $59. So I guess, you know, it's double what I paid, but doubling your money on eBay doesn't mean you double your money. That means you still have to pay fees and you have to pay shipping costs and whatever. So $30, we're not going to make 30 on this. We maybe make 16, maybe 18. I don't know. We'll figure it out at the end of the video, like I said. So I need a little scrap to go in here to fill that hole that I left. This will work. Gotta just cut it down. I'm just gonna leave it in half. Put that in there, and then we'll seal it up. Okay, I'm gonna finish this box, get the information, the weight and everything on here, and then I'm gonna buy labels for everything and I'll come back and tell you exact profits for every one of these items. So buying these labels is gonna take me a little while, so I'll do that off camera and then I'll give you a whole rundown, so stick around. Okay, all of these boxes now have labels. I got them in 2 IKEA bags, which will be left on my front porch for my poor, hardworking mail carrier to pick up. So let's go over to all of these profits. All right, so Friday morning, I packaged, that wasn't what I wanted to happen. At least 6 of those packages just fell on the floor after I carefully Tetrised them into that box, into that bag. Okay, anyway, Friday morning, I packed up a couple of that day's sales and shipped them out in the afternoon. And then, so I'll tell you about those and then the things we packed today, and then we'll go over total profits for Friday, for Saturday, for Sunday, and then wherever we are today. So the first thing that went on Friday morning was a Haunted Mansion Hatbox Ghost bottle opener, and that earned $9.96 profit. Then the second thing was one of those Fourth Wing books that we packed up earlier today, and that earned $5.52. So you didn't see those today, but if you watched the earlier video, you might have seen those. Then today we started by packing up that Caboodles little kids makeup case, or I guess adults use those, I don't know. Anyway, that earned only $12.44 profit. And then the Toxic Avenger DVD, it was not a Blu-ray, it was a DVD. I think maybe it had a Blu-ray and a DVD. I'm not sure. Anyway, $13.29 profit. The Callaway golf shirt, this was the one from the brewery, had the embroidered patch on here. That earned $14.71. So we had a total of 5 sales on Friday, which is a little bit slow, and earned only $55.92, which is considerably lower than I want to be earning. And that's basically going to be the story for the whole weekend. So, okay, Saturday, the hockey player, the little hockey guy for the foosball table earned $24.18. And the Guitar Hero hats, $13.54. HyperX Ally Origin, this is a keyboard, that mechanical keyboard, like a gaming keyboard, only $15.49 for that. So just 3 sales on Saturday, and we earned $53.21. So essentially the same as Friday. Sunday, the Sears Magic Kingdom, the little lighted ceramic house from Disney, $16.58 on that. The Miami Heat hat, $8.86. So luckily we've got that insurance on that to cover that as per the buyer's request. $8.86. The 2 Planet 12 books by Zachariah Stitchin, $8.89 profit on those. And then the Holy Bible, $9.43 profit on that. So 4 sales on Saturday, Total profit $43.76. So not great. That was Sunday. And then today, Monday, we have quite a few more sales. Another copy of Fourth Wing in Spanish, $6.66. G.I. Joe figure, $18.98. The Foticular, those lenticular books, those cool books, $14.08. Norfolk Lake, this is the fishing map from Arkansas, $10.35. The Dot Hack PlayStation 2 game, we're looking at $16.74. Dyson replacement hose, $30.32. That thing you do on Blu-ray, $8. And then the ballpoint pens, $19. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sales today. And that adds up to $124.13. So it's pretty early. It's only 8:30 right now. I figured I'm going to have a lot of packing, so I better get down here and get it done before it gets too late. So there is still time for more sales to come in, and I have been getting some offers that I have been suggesting that we meet in the middle on now. So maybe those sales will come in. Here's a sale right now, just happened. So let's get this packed and add it to the list. So I'm going to pack one more thing and then we'll call it a night. All right, so this sale just came in, and it's a decent one. It's not terrible. This is a vintage automatic electric egg cooker. This just was listed pretty recently on February 10th. Today's the 16th. I got this at my lunch break thrift store. I go there every day. I always talk about it. And I paid $10 for it. $10.11. It is probably from the 50s, maybe early 60s. And it's brand new, still sealed, never opened. So I could not find any reputable sales of this exact model number, but very similar cookers were selling open, used for like $60, $50. I assumed since this one was sealed, it's never been opened, it's going to be worth considerably more. But like I said, could not find that exact model number. I just decided to put it at $100 and hope for the best. Maybe I could have put 120 or 140, but I wanted to sell it quickly, so 100 it was. And you could say that was the right answer because it did sell quickly, or you could say I should have tried to get a little bit more and increased my profit. But this I had for 6 days and I'm gonna make $80 on it, maybe more. So I think I made the right decision just to get it sold quickly and make a pretty decent profit instead of the exact top of the market. So this is gonna make the day closer to where I want it to be, but probably isn't gonna make up for the slow days we've had this weekend. You know, the last 3 days have been under $50. Under $60. Okay, here we go. Let's wrap it up. I always think this in my mind. I'll say, I hope this is the last one. I hope there's no more sales tonight, but that's just because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to come back down here at midnight or something. And I definitely don't want to have to get up early in the morning to come and pack more orders. But I do want more orders. The more orders I have, the more money I have. So I need that. I need those sales. This is 5 pounds. 12 by 12 by, what is this? Well, it should say on here. It's 13 by 12 by 9. It looks like it's a square, but it's not exactly. 13 by 12 by 9. I don't need to know who, I don't need to write who it's going to because I'm just going to buy the label right here. I'm going to just do it live. Let's just buy the label, get shipping label. It's 5 pounds, 13 by 12 by 9. That is, for USPS Ground Advantage is $13.12. For shipping. I could do UPS or something that's a little cheaper, but then I have to make a trip. The buyer paid, where did it go? The buyer paid $14.12, so there's $1 profit there, and we end up at $76.10 on this, so not too bad. And then that gives us a total profit for the day today of $200.23. So I'm looking for an average profit per day for the rest of the year of about $160 in order to reach the $57,000 goal that my spreadsheet suggests I should be able to make. So right now for the month of February, we're only at 126. So we need a really a lot of $200 days to get that number up. And it doesn't matter if this month is not 160 average, but throughout the year it needs to be 160 average. So for now, I'm gonna print this last label, and then I'm going to. It's only 8:30, but I think I'm going to bed. Enough's enough. This has been a long night, and I'm tired. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again very soon.